Well, hello everyone, and good evening. We are live on Facebook, and it's so fun for me to do these on Sunday nights. And tonight, you see, I have with me Wida and Holly. And while people are coming on, go ahead and, if you would, in the chat there, or in the comments rather, let us know where you're coming from, because it's always exciting to see that sometimes there's people from other countries, sometimes there's people from all different areas of the country, and it's always a fun thing to see, because isn't that one of the great things about Facebook, that we can kind of connect the world? And tonight you're really going to hear some great stories from some great friends of ours who are also health, wellness, and transformation coaches, about really how they took control of their lives and were able to control some different conditions that they had. So if you've got friends maybe, or relatives, or someone you care about that you really think might want to hear this, then go ahead and just tag them in the comments, or share this on your page, start a watch party, whatever, because we know that while a lot of people think all we do is help people lose weight, really what we do is we help people create health in their lives. And losing weight and looking great and having energy is a byproduct of that. And who doesn't want that moving into the summer, right? Look better, feel better. You're going to hear just two stories tonight, but I'm hoping that you'll get some inspiration from it, because I know these two both really inspire me, because I was on a roller coaster with weight my entire life, and it's so exciting to see when other people get that under control. Having lost 123 pounds, keeping it off for 14 years, it is not an easy feat, but when you have the system that we have, the transformational lifestyle system, the elements that we put in place in order for people to really be able to get healthy and stay healthy, it makes a dramatic difference. It kind of takes the struggle out of it, especially when we bring a community of like-minded individuals together. So we're going to start tonight with a niece of mine, Holly, and Holly she was a little bit like me in some ways, because I was very resistant to look at any kind of a program. Even though my friend had lost 70 pounds on this program, and I was watching him shrink down and look great and be energetic, I was a little bit resistant, just because I'm a doctor. And so I guess, much as I hate to admit it, I might have felt like I knew it all. And it's hard to tell someone something when they know it all, but that wasn't Holly's situation. She wasn't ready. So that's really going to be the pivotal point for you. It depends on when you're ready. So I'm going to go ahead and hand this over to you, Holly.
Okay, am I good?
You're on.
All right. Well, hello everybody. I'm Holly, and I married into the family 13 years ago. I married Uncle Joe and Aunt Rhonda's nephew, Jason. And together we have 3 children, Michael, Nathan, and Tara. So I'll give you a little quick background. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and hypothyroidism about 20 years ago. Been on medication since then, but the battle of the waistline has always been present. And I think that we could all speak to that. We've all I've tried different things and to lose the weight, but what I never really focused on was getting my diabetes under control. I just assumed, well, I'm on this train track and I'm just going to keep going forward with it, and I'm going to end up like so many people I know, more and more medication. Well, in the meantime, in July of 2017, we lost our older son to cancer. And I basically, for the next year or so, ate my way through the grief. And in May or June of 2018, I had gone to the doctor for my usual checkup, and he had gotten my labs back and looked at it, and my A1C was at an all-time high of 13. And I just started bawling in the office, and I said, I have got to do something, or I'm not going to be able to raise my two younger children, who at the time were, I think, 5 and 7. So I jumped on the popular low carb movement that, you know, people hear about a lot right now. And it worked for just a little bit of time. And it initially got me started, at least attempting to eat better. But then it just stopped working. So I was content to stay where I was for a while. Now, fast forward to the middle of this pandemic we've had this year. And when my kids were home and like, okay, we got to do school, and I'm going to get out there, we're going to do some exercise, and we're going to eat better, and I'm going to start losing weight. And guess what? I didn't. And I knew Uncle Joe had gone on this program all these years ago. I mean, he's been very patiently waiting for us to ask about it. And I finally said, I can't, I've had enough. I've got to do something, because I'm watching my blood sugars go up and up again, despite eating low carb and all of that. When they got done explaining the program to me, I just felt like a weight was lifted. And I was thinking, I can do that. And this, I want in now, please. So I joined up, and I'm so glad that I did. And I think one of the key components for me was the simplicity of the program. It's like Uncle Joe told me, he says, we're not having to reinvent the wheel here. They've already got it exactly like you're going to need it. You just follow the program. This is what you do. And that's what I was looking for as a busy mom with now kids at home and schooling and my husband working 12-hour days. And I'm like, I don't want to have to think too hard about it. And so, you know, a little over 30 days ago, I had no idea what was in store for me. As I watched the scale going down, that was great. But the most amazing thing to me and my husband was my blood sugars were actually normalizing. So instead of waking up with it 140, 150, which means the rest of the day is going to be terrible, I was starting to wake up with them in the 75 to 85 range. And at first I wasn't used to that, so I was a little fuzzy headed. But Uncle Joe said, just be patient. It's going to be all right. And I have watched my numbers just be perfect, absolutely perfect. And I decided, well, I was going to go out and do something. And I put on a pair of shorts that I haven't worn in a while, because, you know, we've all been doing the yoga pant thing. And I put them on and I went, oh, well, they're too big. And the last time I wore them, they were too small. So I thought, all right. So I dropped off my kids they were having a little camp, day camp. So I dropped them off, and I went to a store, and I said, well, I'm going to grab a couple different sizes. And I went in the dressing room and I tried on these shorts, and they all fit. As a matter of fact, yeah, there I am. Those were a size 8. And then another pair I tried on, they were 8s, but they were too big. So I had to go get a 6. Guys, I haven't worn that size since high school. So, you know, this program works, and I can guarantee it will work for you, because it worked for me. And I at first I was like, oh, I don't know. And, you know, what was I going to say? Well, the things that we're allowed to eat, and the things that we do have to think about, again, it's right. It comes right to you. It's right in front of you. You can reference it at any time. A lot of it is portable. You can take it with you if you're on the run. You got to go put a few things in the bag, and you're out the door. And I'm just telling you right now, this program is phenomenal, and it is worth listening to someone tell you about it. And that's it.
Wow, that's really something, Holly. I do have a question for you. Have you had your A1C tested since you've been on the program?
No, because I've only been on it 30 days, and I know that because A1C covers that 3-month period,
right.
that 2 months before is going to make it all weird. But my next appointment is at the end of July, so that should definitely show a significant difference. That's because as I have written down my blood sugars every day, I try to. At first, when I first started, I checked it maybe 6 times a day just to kind of see where I was at. I was probably a little overboard, but I was just wanting to know. I don't do it quite as often because I can see that I don't really have to. I check it in the morning. I might check it once in the afternoon and before bed. And it's been exactly the same. It's sometimes I get the same reading the day before. I'm like, well, that's weird. It's almost like the meter's stuck. But I'm just glad that I got off that merry-go-round of the sugars, where you end up higher sugar, more medicine, and then that stops working, and then you get your higher sugars, and you're more medicine, and that's not a good place to be.
Yeah, absolutely, Holly. You are 100% right. Being in that the insulin and the medication merry-go-round is probably a really tough place to be, because unfortunately in the medical profession, a lot of physicians, they do that because they don't have a good structured program like this one that is medically based, that does have the support, that does have the community, that does have the means to be able to replace unhealthy habits with habits that serve you better. And I know there's probably some people listening out there and they're like, so what's A1C? So just to clarify that for people, is that a normal hemoglobin A1C is somewhere between about 4 and maybe 5.9 or so. A diabetic under great control is around 7. 9, that's kind of considered intermediate control. And these numbers might vary with the labs. So if you're listening, don't say, well, that's not what my doctor told me, because there's some variability in this. But poorly controlled is greater than 9. And I think Holly said hers was 13, which is pretty high. So I'm putting my money on next time hers being in the 4 to 6 range. And those of you who know her or know us, just ask at some point in the next couple of months, and whatever happened to that lady, Holly, and we'll let you know, because this has been pretty incredible transformation for her. I know for us, it's extremely exciting to see diabetics get their blood sugars under control, because as a vascular surgeon, I saw so many complications of diabetes, because they affect essentially every organ system. And if you can get your sugars under control, you are way ahead of the game. In fact, many people on our program, once they get to a healthy weight, really on any program, are oftentimes can come off their diabetes medicine, if not cut down on it considerably. But it's really, it can prevent some real long-term disability by getting your diabetes under control. So Holly, we're cheering for you. I know you're going to be helping a lot of people as time goes on to experience that awesome feeling that you have of being able to wear shorts that are half the size, be willing to take pictures of yourself in a dressing room, where I know that was an aha moment for you. So it's pretty exciting to see what goes on with people when their lives change so dramatically, especially with things like that. So we're going to move on now over from the East Coast of Florida to the Gulf Coast of Florida. And Wida, don't let her name fool you. It's a little unusual when you look at it, but she's unusual in a much different way. She is one special woman with a big bright smile, a great spirit, and really a powerful story. So, Wida, maybe you can share with us a little bit.
Hi, everybody. I'm Wida. I'd be happy to share. I was always little all my life. I was never overweight until midlife and a whole bunch of medical issues, uh, 2 bouts of cancer, back surgery, severe rheumatoid arthritis. I was a mess, a total mess. And I just kept putting on weight, putting on weight, putting on weight, to the point that I really, when I looked in the mirror, didn't even know who this person was. And I really didn't like this person at all. And no matter what I tried, it only worked for a little while. And it took so much effort. And when you're not feeling well, the last thing that you want is anything that takes effort. And I really was not feeling well. I work full time. I'm a pediatric physical therapist. So having legs that were swollen from my toes to above my knees, and in pain and painful hands and shoulders made working really hard. For that matter, at one point, I actually worked for about a year on crutches. So it was really quite horrendous. And it interfered with my entire life. I couldn't go up and down stairs. Curbs were enough to be like, I don't know if I can do this. I didn't go anyplace because I didn't trust myself to drive. I had to literally lift my legs inside the car in order to drive. So it was really a horrendous time. And I had a girlfriend at work who was eating all the time and losing weight. And here I'm starving and putting it back on. So I'd asked her a couple of times and she'd say to me, well, I'll meet you after work and I'll explain it. And I'd say, yeah. So it probably took me about 4 months of doing that. And when I finally said to her, that's it, I've got to know what you're doing and I want in. I shouldn't even explain the program and I knew I wanted in. So she met with me and I was ready. She didn't even finish the presentation and it was like, all right, sign me up. I mean, this is ridiculous. Don't even go any further. I'm in. It's easy. It's quick. It's healthy. It's medically endorsed. I get a journal, I get a life book, I get research, I get a health coach, and I get community help. I mean, what more could a person ask for except to totally do it for me and eat it for me? So I was very anxiously awaiting for my box of stuff to come. And I've got to say, it is the best decision I ever made, ever in my whole life. Within 3 days, I had more energy. I was sleeping better. The weight was coming off. I started being able to feel better. I've lost 60 pounds on program, and I can go up and down the stairs, and I don't have to pull on the handrail and go 1 foot on each step. On the steps, I can go foot over foot with no rail, and I can get down the same way. This is like amazing. It is fabulous and wonderful. And I have energy. I can walk. Crutches are gone. And it is the best thing that I ever did. And like I said, the big high points are how easy it is. The food is delicious. There are probably over 100 recipes that are easy, quick, wonderfully tasting. My husband, who was a diabetic, did not want to go on it because he tried everything, finally got him to go on it by saying, just do it for me for 1 month. You love me, do it for a month. And he is off of all his diabetic medicine and he's lost 60 pounds too, and looks good, feels good, and it will say it was the best thing that he ever did. So I love it. I think everybody who's struggling, I just want you to give it a try.
Wow, Wita. You know, I listen to you and I hear what the ravages of inflammation do to people. And a lot of people don't realize that so much of the standard American diet is filled with ingredients that cause inflammation. And really, even obesity itself is an inflammatory state. So it's when someone like you takes that 180-degree turn and says, I'm going from bad inflammation to minimize inflammation completely, it's a dramatic shift in your life, isn't it?
Oh, I can't even begin. I mean, I have no swelling any place. My rheumatologist is like, wow.
Well, maybe your cheeks swell from smiling so much.
Well, that's true. Those muscles are, but it's muscles. They're getting stronger.
Which is a good thing. I know you're one of those people. I always wonder if you took a picture of you sleeping, are you smiling in your sleep?
Possibly.
And I would guess you probably weren't like that before quite as much.
No, the smile honestly was more forced than it was real because I was in so much pain. It's hard to smile from your heart when you're in pain. You do it kind of like, yeah, I should smile. I want to smile, but it hurts too much.
Wow.
It's
All
nice
right.
to be back.
Great words of wisdom from you, Weed. I know I always get excited when I hear you talk because I've never seen you in that struggling state. I've always seen you in that dynamic, energetic state, and that's a good thing, really, because I know for me, I had a lifetime of up and down dieting as well, and I was at my wit's end. So there's probably people listening tonight, or even if you listen to this recorded, you're gonna have to make a decision. Is the timing right? Because for everybody, the time has to be right. You have to be ready. If you're in the right mental place where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, as much as cliche as that sounds, or if you're just ready to look at a better future and say, I don't want to be going down the path I'm going anymore. I want to go down a healthier path. If you want to say, I want to take control of my life instead of letting food control my life, then you know what? Then just reach out to that person. Somebody probably either shared this on their page, or you know somebody who's looking at this, and or maybe they've started on our program, or they're a health coach. And I think these two women tonight are perfect evidence that you can achieve health that maybe right now you're only dreaming of. So thank you, Rita and Holly, for sharing so beautifully and so much from the heart tonight. And we'll see you all next time. I hope everyone has a great rest of the weekend, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Good night.